Welcome back to another deep dive. Today, we are talking about an industry that, literally keeps the world moving. But most people think it's just about answering phones.
Mhm.
We're talking about truck dispatching. But before you think, oh, great logistics, just pause for a second, because there's this huge misconception we have to get out of the way right now.
It's the glorified secretary myth.
Exactly, the glorified secretary. This idea that a dispatcher is just an order taker. You sit there, a load pops up on a screen, you click a button, and you tell a driver, go to Chicago.
And if you treat it that way, if you really think it's just clicking buttons, you're going to get eaten alive.
Yeah.
I mean, you won't last 3 months.
So we've gone through a ton of research on this, on independent dispatching specifically. And the first thing that just jumps out is that this isn't about moving trucks. It's about what the industry calls revenue efficiency.
That is the core distinction right there. Look,
Yeah.
anyone can move a truck. That's easy. But moving a truck profitably, that's an art form.
So revenue efficiency is really about what? Managing their money?
It's managing the financial survival of that driver's business.
Yeah.
You're not just filling a trailer. You are squeezing profit out of every single mile those wheels turn.
Okay, and we should be clear who we're talking about, because this job, it kind of exists in two different worlds. You've got your carrier dispatchers and then your independent dispatchers.
Correct. And they are night and day. A carrier dispatcher is usually a W-2 employee. You work for a big company. You sit in a cubicle. You get a salary. You're managing their assets. It's a job.
It's safe, it's corporate.
Exactly. But today, we are diving into the independent dispatcher. This is the Wild West. You're a business owner. Your clients are owner-operators, the guys who own their own trucks.
So you don't have a boss, you have a client.
Right. And your income is directly one-to-one tied to their success. If they're not making money, you are not eating.
Which brings us to the money. This is where it gets really interesting and where a lot of people seem to fail right out of the gate. This whole debate, flat fee versus percentage pay.
Ooh, it's the classic rookie mistake.
Okay, so let me play devil's advocate. I'm new, I'm nervous, I need to pay my bills. I find a driver and I say, look, just pay me a flat $150 a week and I'll find you loads. Sounds smart, safe.
It sounds safe, I get it. But you have just decoupled your interests from the driver's interests. The incentives are totally misaligned.
What do you mean? I still want to do a good job.
Do you? I mean, really, let's paint a picture. It's Friday afternoon. It's 4:00 p.m. You are tired. Your driver needs a load for Monday morning. A load pops up, it pays. Okay.
Yeah.
Not great, but it gets him moving.
And if I'm on that flat fee,
You book it. You take the path of least resistance. You click. You send the email. You close your laptop and you start your weekend. Why fight? You got your $150.
okay, I see where this is going.
Now let's flip it. You're on a percentage pay model. It's a 10% commission on the truck's gross revenue. That same load pops up. But now you look at it, you think, no, we can do better. You pick up the phone. You call that broker. You argue. You use your driver's safety rating as leverage. You fight for an extra, say, $300 on that rate.
Because $30 of that goes right into my pocket.
Precisely. Your paycheck moves with the driver's wallet. That's the only thing that gives you the motivation to get uncomfortable, to push for that premium rate. A flat fee makes you a clerk. Percentage pay makes you a partner.
And it's not just about the final number, is it? This is where the math gets a little tricky. We have to talk about RPM rate per mile and this thing called deadhead.
This is the profit formula. This is where the pros really separate themselves from the amateurs.
Can you just break this down with an example? Because I think most people just hear rate per mile and think, well, higher is always better.
And that is the most dangerous assumption you can possibly make. Okay, let's do the math. You have 2 loads. Load A pays $3 a mile. Sounds amazing, right?
$3 a mile. Yeah, that's great money.
It is. But that load is going to what we call a dead market, let's say, rural North Dakota. There's just no freight coming out of there. So to get his next load, your driver has to drive 200 miles empty. That's the deadhead.
Right, unpaid miles.
Exactly. Now look at load B. It only pays $2.50 a mile.
Which looks like a pay cut on paper.
On the surface, yeah. But load B is going to Atlanta, a hot market. The second that truck is empty, there's another high-paying load waiting right there. Zero deadhead.
So when you factor in the fuel burned, driving 200 miles for free.
And the time and the wear and tear. Load B, the cheaper load, actually puts more net profit in the driver's pocket at the end of the week.
So the rookie dispatcher grabs the shiny object, the $3 rate. The pro looks at the whole map.
You're playing logistics chess. You're not just booking a load. You're positioning the truck for the next 3 moves. That's the difference.
That's a level of strategy that I don't think people appreciate. But, strategy doesn't matter if you're not awake to use it. And this brings us to the lifestyle, which honestly sounds brutal. They call it the rule of the clock.
This is where most people quit. Dispatching is a race against time. And the hard truth is that race is run on Eastern Standard Time, New York time, period.
Why EST? Why does New York dictate everything for a truck in California?
Because that's when the brokers start their day. And there's this critical window. We call it the golden 3 hours.
From 7:00 a.m. to 10:00 a.m. Eastern.
That's the window. Load boards light up, it's chaos. But psychologically, it is the most important time because brokers are anxious.
Anxious? Why? They're just in an office.
Because they have shippers, the actual customers, breathing down their necks. Imagine a shipper calling a broker at 7:30 a.m. saying, "Is my truck coming? I've got a crew waiting to load this stuff." That broker is under massive pressure to get that load covered.
And that pressure creates leverage for the dispatcher.
Huge leverage. If you call at 7:15 a.m., you have negotiating power because that broker just wants to clear his desk. You can ask for more money, and he's more likely to say yes just to get it done.
Okay, but let's talk about the physical reality of this. If I live in New York, 7 a.m. is fine. What if I live in Los Angeles?
Then your life is going to be tough. If you're on the West Coast, the market opens at 4 a.m. your time.
4 in the morning.
Which means your alarm goes off at 3:30.
Yeah.
You're at your desk, sharp and ready to negotiate complex contracts before the sun is even thinking about coming up.
And you can't just decide you're not a morning person.
Oh, you can try. But 8:50 a.m. Pacific is 11:00 a.m. Eastern. By that point, the golden window has slammed shut.
The research called this the price of sleeping in.
Right, because by noon Eastern, all the good stuff is gone. The high-paying loads, the lightweight freight going to good markets. That was all booked by the dispatchers who got up early.
So what's left for the guy who slipped in?
The scraps, the garbage. We're talking heavy loads that kill your fuel mileage. Cheap freight. Freight going into those dead markets we just talked about. You're forced to feed your driver garbage.
And eventually, that driver starves and finds someone else.
And they fire you.
Yeah.
It is that simple. If you cannot live on EST, you cannot succeed in this job.
So we've got the math, we've got the clock. Now we have to talk about the law. Because there's a very specific, very bright red line that dispatchers walk.
And this is the fastest way to end your career. And I mean end it permanently.
It all comes down to the legal definition of what a dispatcher is. You're a bona fide agent of the carrier.
Agent is the key word. You represent the trucking company. You act on their behalf. You are not a broker.
Which leads us to the Forbidden Act, double brokering. We hear this term all the time, but what does it actually mean? Why is it so tempting?
It looks like free money. That's why it's tempting. Here's how it works. You, the dispatcher, see a load that pays $2,000. You book it under your carrier's name. You find the contract, the rate confirmation, saying, yes, my driver will move this.
Okay, so I have the load.
But instead of giving it to your driver, you secretly turn around and post that same load on another load board for, say, $1,800. Some other unsuspecting carrier books it from you and moves the freight.
And I just pocket the $200 difference for doing basically nothing.
Exactly. You think, wow, I'm a genius. I'm a middleman.
But it's illegal because...
Why?
Because you are not a licensed freight broker. You don't have the $75,000 surety bond. You don't have the federal authority. You are committing fraud by representing yourself as the asset when you have no intention of actually moving the load.
And the consequences are not just a slap on the wrist. The research mentioned this system called Carrier 411. It sounds like a death sentence.
It is. Carrier 411 is the industry watchdog. It's a reporting system brokers use. Think of it like a credit report, but there is no dispute process.
Just if you get caught.
And you will get caught. They track this stuff. The broker who originally gave you the load will log in and flag your carrier's MC number for unauthorized rebrokering.
And once that red flag is on your file, you're done. No reputable broker in the country will ever give that carrier a load again. Their system will automatically reject you. Your reputation is, and I quote, permanently destroyed.
So you haven't just lost your job. You've basically burned your driver's entire business to the ground.
You've destroyed their livelihood.
Yeah.
The driver, who might not have even known what you were doing, is now radioactive. It is a catastrophic, career-ending mistake.
So the rule is simple. You find the load, your driver moves the load, period.
You represent the asset. You never, ever act as a middleman.
Okay, let's pivot to mindset. Because if you're waking up at 3:30 a.m., doing complex math, walking this legal tightrope, It just shatters this passive income dream you see all over social media.
Ah, the passive income guys. Make $5,000 a week from your laptop on the beach. It's absolute nonsense.
This is a grind.
It's a service business. And service is hard. Really hard.
What does that day-to-day stress actually look like?
It's 2:0 a.m. Your phone rings. It's your driver. The truck just blew a tire in rural Nebraska. Or the reefer unit on his trailer died, and he's got $50,000 of ice cream melting in the back.
And you're the first call he makes.
You are the only call. You become the crisis manager, the therapist, the repair coordinator. You have to find a 24-hour mechanic, calm the driver down, and then call the broker to explain why the delivery is going to be late.
That brings us to this idea of becoming a logistics architect. The sources say you have to evolve past being an order taker. A lot of that seems to be about handling the friction, specifically the paperwork.
The boring stuff is what matters most. We call them packets.
Packets.
It's the setup paperwork for every new broker. It can be 40, 50 pages of PDFs, insurance certs, W-9s, authority letters.
And trying to do that on a smartphone from a truck cab must be a nightmare.
It's awful. It's 45 minutes of lost drive time. If you, the dispatcher, can just say, don't worry about it, I've got all your documents, I'll handle the packet, you just keep driving, you have just made yourself indispensable.
You're removing friction, you're selling convenience.
You're selling speed. And you can use technology for leverage, too. The sources mention MacroPoint.
Right. What is that?
It's basically like Uber tracking for freight. Brokers love it because they can see the truck on a map in real time. They don't have to keep calling the driver asking, where are you?
And you use that to get more money. How?
Negotiation is about giving the other side what they want. They want peace of mind. So when a broker is stuck at, say, $2,000, you say, look, my driver is 100% on time and I will accept the MacroPoint tracking immediately. You won't have to make a single check call. But for that premium stress-free service, I need $2,100.
You're actually monetizing their peace of mind.
And 9 times out of 10, they'll pay it. That extra $100 is worth it for them not to have to worry. That's being a logistics architect. You're not selling truck space. You're selling a professional, headache-free solution.
It really reframes the whole relationship. You're not just working for the driver anymore.
You're building a business with the driver. That's the goal. A great dispatcher makes their driver so profitable that they go out and buy a second truck. And who do you think they're going to call to dispatch that truck? You. That's how you scale. Not by scamming, but by growing your partner's businesses.
Okay, let's wrap this up. We've covered a ton. For anyone listening who thinks, I can handle this, I can do the grind, what are the key pillars they absolutely have to remember?
I'd say 3 things. 1, fix the money logic. Get on percentage pay. Align your interests. A flat fee is just betting against yourself.
Okay. Number 2.
Respect the clock. You live on Eastern Standard Time. If you're not willing to hunt for that cream between 7 and 10 a.m., just don't even bother.
And the last one.
Stay legal. You're an agent, not a broker. Don't even think about double brokering. It's not clever. It's career suicide.
It really seems like the common thread through all of this is just professionalism. The barrier to entry is low a laptop and a phone, but the barrier to success is incredibly high.
That is it. Exactly. There are thousands of guys with cell phones trying to make a quick buck. They're gone in a month. The ones who succeed treat this like a high-stakes professional service.
I want to leave everyone with a final thought. We talked about that 4.0 a.m. negotiation. That moment when it's dark, you're tired, and you have to pick up the phone and fight for an extra $200 for your driver. It raises a really uncomfortable question about value. If you are uncomfortable, if you aren't willing to have that hard conversation when everyone else is asleep, are you actually a business partner? Or are you just an expensive passenger along for the ride? Think about that. Because you can bet your driver is.
Couldn't said it better. Stay safe out there.
Thanks for listening to The Deep Dive. We'll see you on the next one.